Thank you. My name is Dr. Brenna O'Brien, and I am a CPS parent of 2 students. And during the first week of school, all families were sent this attestation form where we acknowledged and agreed that our children would not be permitted to enter a school if they met any of these 6 criteria for quarantine. Parents signed off, and then what happened after that was confusing, chaotic, and inconsistent. This is a copy of the CPS contact tracing flow chart. Of these 6 reasons listed in this form, CPS only offers remote learning for 2 of them. If a student traveled recently, no remote. If a parent tests positive, no remote. If a student has a close contact outside of school, no remote. If one child has a close contact and their siblings quarantine, those siblings get no remote. Students in self-quarantine, including my own, have been denied access to a public education for the past 17 days and have been marked absent this entire time or even unenrolled. This is wrong and directly contradicts ISBE's statement that a continuity of learning should be provided during this pandemic. Previously, CPS said they could not offer remote because of ISBE guidelines. But today, I asked the board to address the update from ISBE on September 7th that states remote instruction must be made available for students excluded from schools who are in isolation or quarantine.
You have 30 seconds.
Last week, CPS gave principals the authority to flip an entire class to remote as soon as possible, while the contact tracers went through their process. This shows that the district can act quickly in response to changing circumstances. We simply ask that principals be able to flip an individual student to remote if parents report they are in quarantine for any of these 6 reasons. What parents have signed off on and what is actually being implemented should be the same. And it should comply with the updated ISBE guidelines from September 7th. I urge the board to take immediate action to rectify this as hundreds of students continue to be denied access to remote learning who are in quarantine right now. I've included all of these attachments in my written comments. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, speaker number 6. We'll proceed, Mr. President, with speaker number 7, please. Courtney Ritzema, followed by speaker number 8, who is in person, Lenora Dennis. Speaker number 7, please unmute. *6.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, please proceed.
Throughout the summer, CPS made a commitment to prioritize re-engaging and re-enrolling students. Earlier in this meeting, CEO Jose Torres congratulated the district on their success in these efforts. With all this emphasis on re-enrollment and engagement, I can't understand why CPS has so actively worked to block my children from participating in school. I am the mother of 3 CPS students who were forcibly unenrolled from their neighborhood elementary school. Consistent with the CPS attendance policy, I informed the school that my children would be absent due to my concern for their health and safety as a result of high community spread of COVID-19 and the contagiousness of the Delta variant. Although I was in contact with the school, by the 4th day, my children were all unenrolled and locked out of their CPS accounts. I was contacted by the school administration and asked to write a letter saying I would be homeschooling my children. Since this time, I've reached out on numerous occasions to the administration at my children's school, the network chief, the manager of attendance and truancy at CPS, asking to see the policy that permits this action. What has been represented to me is that my children were unenrolled because they were absent on the first day, which is referred to as did not arrive. However, no CPS official has identified a policy that provides that any child can be unenrolled for missing a single day of school. I have done my best to research this issue, and as far as I can tell, by unenrolling my children from school, CPS is currently violating Illinois statutes, Illinois administrative codes, and its own procedures, and depriving me and my children of our right to due process. I bring this to the board's attention today because I am not alone in having this happen. I shared my story on social media, and parents from across the city have been reaching out to me to tell me their version of this same story, resulting in their children being unenrolled from a CPS school. Our children have a right to a safe public education, and they are currently being deprived of that right without due process. Thank you.
Proceed.
My name is Lee Mabry. I am a CPS parent to a second grade special education student. Special education students have complex days in school. My student learns both in her general education classroom and her diverse learning classroom. She works with multiple therapists who work in other school communities. The therapies she receives are often given in hallways, basements, and various other shared spaces. My daughter is a contract tracer's worst nightmare, even if there were enough people on the job. For this reason, we have kept our daughter home out of school, requesting a remote option. Monday, we got the phone call we didn't want. Our principal is sending us paperwork to unenroll and homeschool. This left us scratching our heads. How do we homeschool an IEP? Last year, we had partners in learning. My daughter earned straight A's. The connection to the classroom was vital to our at-home success. The team of therapists and our amazing special education teacher coached us and provided us materials to keep our student on track. Was it perfect? No, but it's certainly better than this year where we are left with nothing. CPS leadership is pushing us out of public education and our community of support. You talked about learning loss last year. This is learning theft, and it is much more real. Vaccination for 5 to 11-year-olds is finally on the horizon. Please allow students who need to learn from home to do so. These students will come back to these buildings this school year. Why not keep them on track now? The hope was from leadership was that parents would see kids going back to school, and then we would feel safe and give up the fight. With the spread in the schools, this is not happening. Remote learning must be restored immediately. Thank you.